Hey everyone, this is Taplin Tepe at Future of Faith doing the newsletter recap with Tap and friends. At Future of Faith, we curate a twice monthly newsletter spotlighting the people, practices, and places shaping what's next for faith. Each issue invites you listening to the field through real stories on the ground, listening to each other through thoughtful conversations, and listening to the research that helps us understand where faith is headed. We celebrate a featured artist of the year and share dream jobs and opportunities you won't want to miss. Subscribe today at futureoffaith.org and join a growing community committed to listening well and building the future of faith together. Hi everyone, welcome back to Newsletter Recap with Top and Friends. As you can see, my friend Josh Packard is not with us, but I am not alone. I am accompanied by my friend Greg Arthur, our ministry practitioner and ministry practitioner coordinator here at Future of Faith. So happy that you're here, Greg, and really excited to talk about the Newsletter Recap, which you curated.
Hey, imagine that.
Exciting. Yes.
I'm just excited to be included as in the category of Tap and Friends.
Yes.
To that category really feels like an accomplishment. So I'm just glad to be included in that category.
Yes, it is an honor to become the friend of Tap and Friends. So I'm really, really happy that you were so involved in curating the newsletter this time, and we just really wanted to know more about you and what you do here at Future of Faith, and what you do outside of Future of Faith. As you guys know, maybe you've not only seen Greg here, but you've seen him on our podcast for season 2, which you guys should definitely check out on our YouTube page and at futureoffaith.org. But Greg, I'll let you talk about yourself.
Sure. I've been in local church ministry for 25 years in a number of different contexts. I've been pastoring a church in Chesterton, Indiana for the past 17 years, which has been a delight. I've also spent 20 years working in different nonprofit spaces, primarily working with vulnerable populations around the globe. And that's been a really enriching part of my life to get to build relationships and learn how to serve others and to absorb all of the lessons and the wisdom from the incredible people that I've gotten to partner with around the globe. I'm amateur contextual theologian, which is not a category anybody has in their mind, but I do a lot of contextual theology, looking at how culture and faith interact, and do a lot of reading and writing and research around that as well. And here at Future of Faith, all I'm doing is trying to help organize all of the incredible ministry practitioners and the people like myself who are actually on the front lines of ministry, and working on us getting together for writing and resources, and how can we help other people connect with the unbelievable research and beautiful work that Future of Faith is doing.
Is so awesome. Contextual theologian. I've never heard of that, but that is so cool.
It's big growth industry. I mean, it's just busted at the seams. You wouldn't believe the lucrative nature of it.
That is so cool. So I just want to talk about some of the articles and webinars and blogs that were curated here in this newsletter, including yours that you wrote about sacred listening during Lent. So let's talk a little bit about your thoughts and why you were so called to do a blog post such as this.
Yeah, I really love the church calendar that a lot of Christian traditions use to organize and think about our spiritual life. And for me, it ties in so well with these other rhythms of our life around the seasons or around holidays. And there's already these rhythms, but it just helps build out more meaning and more intentionality to that. And the season of Lent is this 40-day journey towards Easter, and it mirrors the practice of going into the wilderness like Jesus did for 40 days to go through a season of testing and growth. But really, for me, it's about interrupting everyday life to create some space for something new to happen. And that's what I love about Lent, is if we open up space, if we approach a season of our life differently, if we build in some beautiful disciplines into it, the remarkable thing is something happens within us, right? It changes us, it impacts us. And I think Lent is an incredible season to focus on listening. listening to God, listening to the people in our life. If you're in a faith community, to think about how we can listen to each other differently, because we know from the research and from our lived experience that sacred listening has a profound ability to change us and to reshape us. So I just tried to offer some background and some thoughts on the blog about maybe some ways to help inspire someone to spend some time listening during the season.
That's good. That's really good. My favorite thing that you mentioned is just about prayer and the importance of that, and how people can get so caught up in how to pray, when to pray, how should they pray. And for me, I'm always overthinking about, and I have a lot of thoughts in my mind all the time when I'm trying to just sit and focus and pray. But when you gave the tip of having a prayer walk, I feel like my walks are always so peaceful, and they're always a time for me to really be intentional, just not even with my body, with my movement, but also just with my mind. It really calms me down. So having that as a way to be connected and pray to God, that's like a really, really good thing for me. So
I live by the mantra that a walk in the woods is good for my soul.
mm-hmm.
And that is just true, especially right now, because I'm in Indiana and it's very winter here.
Yeah.
Like last week, there was 2 days in the 60s, right? Great meltdown, and everybody's outside because you just never. I went to my favorite nature preserve, which is right on my way to work, and I walked for an hour each day and just listened and was in the quiet and was praying, and I literally felt like a different human after doing that, just because of what it was to be out and connect and to look and to stop. So I think that has long been a spot where I pray and listen better than other places.
Mm-hmm. It really also makes you so grateful just for simple things like the weather and how you really want to take advantage of it any chance that you can get. So that's really awesome. That's so cool. Let's talk about listen to the research section where you gave this article about emotional intelligence for leadership and how important that is. Let's talk about that.
This is a really helpful article because it crossed over into maybe realms that people don't think that sacred listening and this research goes into, which is business and how to effectively run an organization. And oftentimes we sort of bifurcate that's an emotional thing or a spiritual thing or a personal growth thing. And this is the world of business and we get stuff done and this is about productivity. But we're just whole creatures. But we bring all of us into whatever experiencing we're having. So when we're able to better craft an environment where we're able to be whole creatures, productivity, satisfaction, there's all of these benefits that are really into that. And the article captured well, I thought, how emotional intelligence as a boss or somebody who's creating an environment and working with others has a massive impact on actually achieving the goals of an organization, even if it's a for-profit organization. Emotional intelligence can be one of those maybe unsung aspects of that leadership to really help people enjoy their workplace, stay longer, be more productive, feel seen and honored. And so maybe this is a way to even think about how sacred listening could pop up in the business world.
That's really good. That's really, really good. And it also even helps with conflict resolution when you're having
massive.
When you're having an issue with not even maybe like a client or another employee, and just being a leader to actually, I guess, humble yourself and really listen to your employees, and not only see it as, I'm the boss, like I have the expertise to see what I can do and what my ways are like better than your ways. It's like, no, like really listen to what the issues that people are having and see it as a peer-to-peer type of situation. So I really appreciated this research that you shared, because it really is important. I always think that people think that business and spiritual aren't the same, but even here at Future of Faith, we're doing that and disrupting the whole entire concept. So I'm really
absolutely
that.
I think Future of Faith is it's been one of the things as being new to the staff that I've sung the praises of Future of Faith of, and what I love is like our staff meetings are genuinely the funniest meetings I've ever been.
Yeah.
Like people just bring who they are and they engage, and there's a joy to it. And it's hard to replicate. So I'm glad that Future of Faith is a place where this exists, and you can see it, and it definitely adds to the productivity and the bottom line of it. So,
yeah, for sure. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to talk about is the What does citizenship require of us? The webinar that happened with Russell Moore. Did you have a chance to go to that webinar?
Yeah, I was able to check out a good portion of it. And I think there's a lot of these conversations taking place right now around this idea of dual citizenship, that we're citizens of the kingdom of God, but also we live, and for us, we're in America, but we're all citizens somewhere.
Yeah.
We live in some sort of organized government system. And that tension for the entirety of the church has been a tension. What does it mean to do both? What does it mean to be part of God's work, but actually have to live with my neighbor and organize our lives, or figure out how to live under a government that we have the privilege of having some level of input in connection to? Many people do not and have not, historically. So it was a really good conversation. I appreciated Russell. And I appreciate the Trinity Forum, because this is what they do. They're really good at having important conversations. But I appreciated his approach to learning how to prioritize life in the kingdom, but the posture that then we bring to life in another kingdom. And it's a posture of, loving our neighbor well. There's a humility to it. There's a working for the common good aspect to it. There's a non-coercive, non-violent posture that we bring to that. So anyway, that was a great conversation. And, I'm always looking for people who are having these particular conversations. I think it matters to a lot of us right now.
I think for me as a young adult, it's interesting, and it's difficult to be having that dual citizenship, because you want to be relatable and you want to be, liked by other people, but you also know that the way that others are living their lives probably isn't how you would live yours. And so, what would you say about when it comes to that tension of like, how would you go about, just living that dual life in a sense? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think this is where the listening is a massive tool. Mm-hmm. I think our posture about what does a redemptive, healing posture in the world look like? Mm-hmm. And I don't find anywhere in the New Testament and in the theology of it this posture of domination or coercion, mm-hmm. or war against. We talk about a war against principalities and powers, about larger systems, but not individual people. We are for all people. We are called to love all people, even the ones who declare themselves our enemies. And one of the first ways we can do that is by actually seeing the dignity in them, seeing the inherent worth, seeing the created image of God in them enough to listen to them and to get to know them, and to move beyond, especially the categories that are dividing us right now and that are really polarizing us, but to see who they are as a person. And so I think a big part of not actually feeling that tension is, if we're for all people and you actually want to get to know them or hear them, then some of that just melts away, because before we get to any important issues, we can build individually connection, rapport, understanding, that then as we move towards bigger issues, then we can, make sense of some of that.
That's really good. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Sure.
It's so interesting, because even within our own, church communities, there could be a tension and conflict with how people even operate in their own way versus our own way. Yesterday, I had a conversation with my bishop. My bishop was trying to tell me about how, even though we have differences and even though we have different ways of doing something, let's think about how we should love each other first and put the respect for each other first in that. And that, I would say, that kind of reminded me of that when you were talking about the tension. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. And I think going back to sort of even thinking about Lent, the blog post, some of my suggestions when there were around thinking about as a community, mm-hmm. big communities, how we can build this in. And I think this is where listening well is vital, because it builds the muscles. And for when we then have to listen around something really difficult, where there mm-hmm. is conflict. But if you don't have those muscles, it's like jumping straight marathon, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't run, but I'm just going to go ahead and run this race now. Mm-hmm. So that's part of what happens in there. It's why it's a means of grace for God to change us and use us is because we're building up our strength and our understanding and our intelligence for how to love each other better so that when it gets hard, we already know how to do that. And that's the basis.
Yeah. Endurance, building the endurance when the test comes.
Yeah. Loving people is an endurance race, unquestioned. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why, patience is also called long suffering because it takes time and it hurts, and it's painful to be able to, just to submit and to humble yourself constantly. So, yeah, that's really good. Well, yay! This was awesome. This was a great conversation. Thank you so much, Greg, for first of all curating this newsletter and then also talking to me. This is really, really fun. Make sure
Thanks
everyone
for the friends category that gets to come and talk to you anytime.
Yay!
Anytime the invitation's out, I'll be on. So
You will
even
be
if
on again.
you need to talk to Josh, but you need somebody else to pop in and make fun of him or give him a hard time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm your friend for that. I just want you to know I'm your friend for that.
That is awesome. Everyone, also please make sure to look at the Dream Jobs and Opportunities section in the newsletter. We have so many dream jobs and fellowship opportunities and storytelling lab. It's a lot of really great things in there, and we're really, really happy that we can be able to share resources from our friends and get some people employed, probably.
Yeah.
So it has been a really, really great time. Thank you so much, Greg, again. That is it for Newsletter Recap with Tap and Friends. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Newsletter Recap with Tap and Friends. Be sure to subscribe at our newsletter at futureoffaith.org. See you next time.